I've just got the off. Oh, I can't. You can't. Oh, okay. You still can't.
Brothers. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you, Tender, but I can't actually make my PowerPoint visible.
Okay. One moment, yeah?
Yeah.
Ik ga co-host maken, want we zijn niet gehouden van de presentation.
Ik kan ook eens kijken. Bij share.
Yeah.
I've got share.
Yeah,
But it says.
I have to do share because I'm the host. So.
Probeer nou eens.
Oh, you have to do share.
Can you try now?
Oh, but you're sharing the screen.
Can you try now?
Can you try now, Tsapel?
Okay. So share my screen, desktop. Yeah. Open. I think Zoom Workplace has to share my screen. So I have. So screen. Screen.
You should be able to, on the green bottom, share PDF. In Zoom.
Sorry.
In Zoom on share, there's a green button. And
yeah, there's green button, but it's not. I've pressed that, and now it says. I need to go in and share to allow it to. I didn't have. It's not letting me share. Okay.
Strange.
Yeah. Oh, I have to click and reopen. Okay.
Because we have now registered her as co-host, eh?
I just got to.
Okay, yeah.
I've got to go out and.
Co-host, yeah. Now we have made you co-host, yeah.
Als je share doet, moet je kiezen. Ik denk dat ze hier vast zit. Je moet kiezen wat je gaat delen. Ze zit daar vast.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now I can.
Nangsel is coach. Can you check one time this list because you said Nangsel
yeah.
is co-host, but Tsapel is co-host. Yeah, Tsapel is no. You do Nangsel, did you?
What does it say?
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
No problem.
I see.
Can you see something now?
No, yeah, I only see your face.
Oh. Well, okay, share it now.
Maybe we also have to stop the recording until that works well. Yeah, that is screen. Okay, now we got it. So.
Can you see anything?
Yes, we see nice the two deers and the Dharma wheel from Machig.
Oh,
Labdron.
good.
Very good.
And you're seeing all of that, are you?
Yeah, I think everyone can see it. Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
I want to just say welcome to everyone. I'm very happy, Tsapel, that you are willing to give this presentation. So, I already want to say that I very much admire your courage to start this project. And for the people who don't know you, your Venerable Tsapel, already 49 years nun. So laat me eens ook een beetje.
39.
39. Ah, maybe I can.
45, a student of Lama Zopa's and Rinpoche.
Anyway, very, very great. That's very admirable. So thank you so much. So we are here for to hear the progress and the ideas and the instructions Rinpoche give you and all the ins and outs, in short, from this project which you start, a Machig Labdron Nunnery. So please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Tender, for the opportunity. It's it's this last year has been one of the busiest in my life, I think. And it seems like it's really a huge project for all of us, with quite a very long sort of preliminary period of just nothing to show but sites and plans and different sites and different plans and different sites and different plans. But in the meantime, actually, something good about that was that money was gradually accumulating. And so when, we finally did get to this big job this year, we put it out to tender at the end of last year, and then it started. We had to do some amendments to bring the price down a bit, and then we started building. The fence went round, and excavation started in March, and then the slab went down, and it's just been so quick from then. I've been so shocked.
Oh, wow.
But also just each bill, we sort of had money to start, and we got some very kind help with FPMT Sangha Fund, which I'm eternally grateful, because it was sort of like, the next bill could be paid.
Wow.
And then then we got $100,000 loan. So that really helped for the next bill, but they were really big bills. And in the meantime, we were fundraising and bringing in money and doing a raffle, but it's just been such a busy year. But at each stage, even though I didn't need to worry, because it sort of worked out, but at each stage it was very stressful and also very, very busy. But anyway,
we're very curious to see some pictures and hear some.
I'll show you some pictures anyway. So it's in Bendigo at the Great Stupa site. So I can just see one picture that's gone a bit funny. Okay, so Lama Zopa came. I moved to Atisha at the same time as Rigsel moved here in 2018, and I'd been with my mum, who passed away just the year before, but it was the big course with Lama Zopa that I was SPC for, and it was a very joyful occasion to have Rinpoche here, of course, and many of you would have come as well. So Lama Zopa had already given a name around 2011 as Machig Labdron, and there had been some nuns here, who initially did a little bit of fundraising and sort of planning, but and got the name. But Rigsel and I, it was really great to have Rigsel there, and so at this stage, when Rinpoche came, we were checking. We had a few different sites around Atisha, and Lama Zopa was confirming the best site was between Atisha Center and the monastery, so halfway up the hill, those of you who know the site. We had just sort of some concept design, and then there was a master plan. But when we finally had that ready, and that was submitted, and that took quite some time for the council to review it. And when we got it back, they were saying, look, we haven't said you can't do it, but you really do need to consolidate what you're doing, because we want to preserve the environment as best as possible, so that if you gather the buildings in a similar place. So we then, so instead of having a courtyard building, we then made it smaller and 2-story. And then we're also looking at a neighboring site behind the monastery that was belonged to Ian Green's brother and wife. And it was a very trashed site, but it was a beautiful outlook. And we thought, well, we could build up there, or we could build retreat huts up there and have something smaller down below, or maybe still completely down below. So when we checked with Rinpoche, it didn't come out, and then began the job of looking for a new site. So Rigsel and I were really looking around the property for a new site. And a new site did come up. That was Site 3 in 2019. We had plans drawn up for 2-story building. And then things were sort of quite slow, though it didn't actually really. What happened is it became too close to the Lama Yeshe village development. And so we actually lost our buffer. And the building was really a bit big for the site, because here with the fire regulations, you have to have really clear all around the house for 10 meters. And then you have to have clear, partially cleared, so you can have clumps of trees, but the tops have to be 5 meters apart from the next clump. So it means the clumps of trees have to be further apart than that because trees spread out at the top. So it was just, our whole buffer was getting lost. And so it wasn't viable. And we didn't have any plan B. So we went to see Ian, and he said, in the meantime, while we were sort of working on that, we felt we're all sort of staying in different, Rixel and I was in the at Atisha, and Rixel had moved up to the monastery, and she was thinking of getting a container house or something on wheels. And I sort of said, well, she found somebody who was making cabins on wheels, and was a son of a volunteer here at Atisha, and he was quite competent and made trailers as well as the buildings. And so we spoke with him, and he was prepared. He was starting a new business, and so he was prepared that if we built 4 houses all the same, we'd get a discount on those. So we each we pulled in Dreamer and Lectron, who were quite keen to join us to make 4 nuns to buy a cabin each. And Ian had said that we could put them down on the by this time we were expecting Lama Zopa again, but after the retreat finished, he said we could put them down in the powered van site. So that was very useful. In the meantime, we got some chance to live together, 4 nuns as a community. So we started to get a perspective of being a nunnery, because we had some cabins, but we still weren't, it wasn't really, they were just like caravans. They weren't really legal. And we had water and, little kitchenette in each, but no bathroom. We shared a bathroom. And a kind worker here, Bob Waterhouse, some of you may know, who helped Gatso so much with the monastery. He built a little 3x2 bathroom, which we shared. So then with that sort of helped, kept us settled. So then when we're looking for another site, when we just thought we've got to go to plan B, we went to Ian and sort of said, look, it's not working out. We've got to, we've got to find another site. It's not going to work. And so he said, why don't you look around the road, just where you've got your cabins. There's a road there and goes back to the monastery on either the west road or the road just above where you are, which was we were just below the camping site. He said we could go down there. And so I was quite interested in that. We were both quite delighted because, that's very near where our cabins are. And also we thought maybe in the future, the camping site might come up, once accommodation is built for retreats. So we actually, we just redesigned, a similar sort of building for the different site, 2-story and square, that was beside where we're now building. It wasn't the flat pad, it was just on slopey ground. And then Gatso, Rixel thought, it's too close, it's too low and close to the bush, and so Gatso then said, why don't you move it back on the road, and why don't you move it back? And I felt it was way too close to the road that went through there. And then he said, well, move it onto the road. And I said, well, how can you do that? What's Ian going to say? We move on the road. And he said, well, ask him. And so I did, and he was very happy to close the road. And so because we're actually doing he was rather have a ring road further down, so that was pretty interesting. It meant it was nicer back on the road. And then also one of the a friendly architect, a Sri Lankan architect who was helping a little bit with the Sri Lankan site. He had done some design for the Loden Centre in Melbourne, and he offered to have a look at our plans and came up one day, and he sort of said, look, with your 2-story design, don't have 2-story over the gompa. It's separate a little bit and have a linking room. And so it sort of improved the look of it. And so we did this new building back on the road, and was just it was just on the edge where our Gompa building is now. And Gatso had said, oh, pull it onto the flat pad a bit. And I was saying, no, Ian's not going to like that. And he said, well, pull it on a bit more and give him something to say, more than you want, and then give him something to say, move back. So I did that. I thought I'd need to be a bit more gutsy as Gatso was encouraging me. So Ian did exactly that. He said, oh no, that's too far. So we went back a little bit. So a little bit on the flat pad, but mostly on the road. And but then so then we were having, so here we are where this is getting to we were at site 4, and then our final site is site 5. So all those this is a Tisha center here, and this is the monastery here, and this site here was the brothers' site. That's the one we were thinking to buy, but it would have been buying land as well as building the monastery, so it would have been quite expensive. This was site 3 that was just nearby the Lamieshi village on the ridge, and then this is the road. This is the site where there's a flat pad where the marquee was for Lama Zopa's retreats, and the camping site was just below that, another flat pad, and we were just beside that with site 4, and then finally we moved on to site 5. So the final site, while we were doing the work of the for the last building, the construction plans were being drawn up, and then there came a problem with the 2-story building because the stairway wasn't as wasn't according to the proper regulations. So we had to extend that because it was because it's a public building. You have to have one person accessible for a wheelchair access, which we had, but because of the size of the building was just a little bit too big, we had to also have every other there had to be access with the upstairs where we didn't have the accessible person going, but they still had to be able to fit in a mobile stair or something like that. So that meant the people who were drawing up the plans, Penno Design, they were saying, look, you've got two options. You can redesign the a bigger accessible stair in the similar sort of building, or you can go to single story and 2 buildings. So we decided as a group to go to single story and 2 buildings. So then we started working on that. Because just after, we were starting to build this 2-story building, or getting construction plan. The construction plans were already underway, but we hadn't got a permit for it. And then the drafts people, the design firm was also said, well, that means a whole nother planning permit. That's going to, we're already so far behind. And he said, no, it's only an amendment. And I said, how can it be amendment? 2 buildings instead of 1. And then we'd also need to move on to the site. And they said, no, we do it all the time. All they care about is the type of structure it is and that it's not too close to the boundaries. So that was also a learning curve for me. So we moved on to the final site, and new concept plans were done. Planning amendment permit was obtained. Construction plans went ahead. And then we had put it all out to tender. Tact Constructions, our builders at the moment, they won the tender. And then, all 3 tenders came in way too high. And all of them sort of had suggestions how to bring the price down. And Tact were the best to work with and also brought the price down the most. So we saved 136 without changing the floor plan. There are a number of different things, with the help of the builder, we were able to reduce the costs. So that was very, very helpful. But it did mean that we had to then do another design amendment and then proceed with construction drawings. So that was helpful. In the meantime, now this is a bit of a funny drawing because I think I've actually I've got a photo stuck there. which I didn't mean to have. Anyway, don't worry about that. We'll just go. We also did some extra work. I'll just show you on this one. This is Sandhurst Town Road here, and this is where you come into the main car park for the exhibition building and down to the stupa. And the it's actually the second entry. Ian wanted to make the second entry much more a better trade route. Trade road, so that they didn't get the traffic coming through the all the staff that are living on the ridge at the moment. And in the future, he does, because it's going to be Lamieshi village, then the second entry made more sense. So this first bit was all right up to the Lamieshi village here, but so we and the stupa shared remaking that road right around to the workshop area and our site here. And then also we extended it right around to here, so that we could go through to a teacher centre the back way without it being so rough. So that was very nice. That was sort of good to do early while we were sort of waiting to get all these other jobs done. And we did get we got permission to label it Machig Labdron Boulevard. So it was a nice road through the trees, and Ian gave permission for that to be okay, for that to go ahead. Anyway, sorry about that. So then once we finally got permission and we started, then in May, the great big slab and the smaller slab for the meditation hall were laid, as well as at the same week, our garage, which we'd been planning much early, garage and carport, we'd been trying to get done early, but we had to keep changing it because our site was changing. So luckily we didn't build it, but it all sort of happened in about the same couple of weeks that the 3 slabs were laid. And so we were just, it was amazing to watch, and just seemed like things were really happening. And then the timber came, and it was really like a big Lego set, because it was all red and blue and yellow, because it was laminated timber, and the animals don't like the laminated timber. And the laminated timber is also much more, it keeps straighter, and they don't have to, it doesn't warp as much. So that was sort of new to me. I'd not seen that. And then the walls went up, and then the trusses went up, and then it started to look like a room in a proper house. So this is in the meditation hall. There's just the shape of it, and there's a workshop at the back where we can do satsangs and things. Maybe some tonka painting if we get someone like that. So then the gutters and things started to fill out a bit, and then the roof started to go on. And then, some of the weatherboards on the ends. And then we cladded it all in Hebel, which is a light, we were going to go hempcrete, which is 300 thick wall, but that was one of the items that was very expensive. And so we ended up going to Hebel instead. So it's a 200 thick wall, and it's got a 75 mil aerated concrete panel. So they're all put on, and they can be cut quite easily. And then it's got an air gap, and then it's got a timber frame and insulation inside. So that was that saved quite a lot of money. But actually the thermal quality was just a couple of points better thermal. So that was quite interesting, because one of the main things about the hempcrete was the thermal qualities. So it should be very good, warm building in winter, keep its heat and keep cool in summer. So that'll be good. And it's just plaster inside. So it was plastered inside, and then the Hebel was rendered over. All the joints were filled. It's got some expansion joints, and then it was rendered. So a couple of thicker coats and a netting, that the first coat has netting embedded in it, and then a thinner outer coat. And it actually came up to quite a good finish. And then we painted it. It's painted now as well. So that's been really, from the slab in May to now, it's just been amazingly sort of quick. So then the construction costs, we incorporated Machig Labdron in December 23, just so that we could, because we'd only been a project of a Tisha Centre, but now we're really ready, with this project to become an entity. So we formed a committee, and then we're opening some bank accounts. We didn't really. It took a while to get the charity status, but that happened in June. And so then we opened our own account separate from Atisha. So Atisha's been really very, very good support throughout, not only with the legal entity that we could be an umbrella of for all those early years with the project, but also they've been really good just helping us get on our feet, with the advertising and everything about the project, sharing what we have, and also really welcoming our publicity for the build and everything. And if everyone on the whole side is everyone on the whole side has been really interested, as well as visitors and things, to sort of they come down and have a look at the project. And I said to Dennis one day, he had to tell me that something about some lights being left on, and it was just the Sri Lankans need to work overnight, so don't worry about the lights and some of the tools going. And then I sort of said, oh, it was just the early stage. And I said, oh, have you been down to see the Nunnery? And he said, oh yeah, I come every day. We all do. We can't believe what's happening down there. And he said, even your garage is beautiful. So we had this, it sort of, we didn't really know, because people would drive past and have a look, but it did create a bit of a stir, and because people are really happy to see it happen after so long. So that's been a good support. So then where we are now is that we got our charity status in June. So that means we get any GST, the 10% GST, which we have to pay up front. Every quarter we get a lump sum back. So that's also very helpful. I mean, it'd be nice not to have to pay it at all, but we have to pay it and then we get it back. And we've just reached the 1 million mark of 1.38 million, basically rounded up, but it's so that's really pretty amazing. And part of that, this last month, on the 1st of September, we've got 1 million, and so we need 377,000 left in loans or donation to complete the project. By January, that's when the builders are expecting to complete it. And we had, this last September, we've launched a new appeal, because a couple of weeks earlier, one of our earlier benefactors, one of our earlier major benefactors sort of said, she was just really pleased with how far we'd gone, and just the other things that we were reporting on our website. Oh, we did a website as well in the meantime. So that's, some of you, I hope you've seen it. Australian Buddhist Nunnery or Machig Labdron will get you to it. But, this
we can add
major
that.
benefactor was just pleased at where we were, where we are, where we got to already. And she knew we'd got to 70% and we only had 30% left, but 30% left was still 433,000, which is a lot of money for a group of nuns. But she wanted to start this new appeal, and she said, it needs to be an appeal. I'm willing to sort of do this special 3-by-1 appeal, so that whoever donates something, you then can advertise that their donation will go further by twice being added, which means it's 3 times the original amount. So that if they're offering $100, that with this new appeal, it'll become $300. Or if they're offering $1,000, it'll become $3,000. So I was really, really blown away. But to do that was also, we had to adjust our our website. So we had a website, luckily that was already functioning, and we put out a notice of this intention to start this new appeal in September. And then it was really the second week of September we were able to really get the parts of the website added and advertising our appeal. So we've got on the landing page of our website now, there's a special donation where whatever you donate through there, twice more will be added. So it has to be added manually because there's no sort of little window you can have where it automatically adds something from your own account. And also we had to sort of prove the benefactor didn't want to just give the money and then you'll raise the rest. She really wanted it to be something that was energizing our supporters. So it was, just to be added manually as the way that we're doing it is we're just adding manually when the funds come up. So we've got we managed to get the third of our next big bill that's due on Friday. And that big bill is 158,000. Every month we have a big bill. So anyway, we'd sort of run out of money by getting to 70%, and then this new bill came. So we had till the 20th of the next month to pay the bill. And so now we've got 57,000 that we've raised, and so now that means the actual 100 and 57, 100 and I think it's 100 or 55, I think it is, and then so 110 will be able to match that to scrape through the next bill. So it's been like this all the way along. So a little bit hair raising, but very, very kind of this lady. And so now it just looks like the end is really in sight, with this 3-to-1 appeal, because a lot of people are getting on board and, really enjoying to see us move through that fundraising more quickly with the help of this kind benefactor. So pretty exciting, really. This is just ways that we help getting people to help us if they're interested. So the website donation, just whatever you put through the website, any of the support us or donation things, it all goes through this 3-by-1 appeal. So whatever you donate goes 3 times the amount you donate. And even quite a few people for some years have been giving just a small donation every month directly to our account. So that's also continuing. And so we're also including those donations manually as well that come in. Then we also boost those twice the amount because the benefactor was happy, whatever donations. And then other people are donating prizes, like accommodation prizes, so that we can do raffles. And also there's a plan to do an auction, and we're doing about 4 raffles. So Nungsel has been extremely skillful on the winter raffle, and that gave us a boost, not only of the raffle amount, we raised 20,000, but just the activity of publicizing the raffle and also getting people to know that we're nearly at our target, and we've just got a little bit further to go for our raffle target. All of that meant that some people don't want to do the raffle, so the donations to the site just really increased a lot during that time. So that was quite a big lesson. We must have raised about not only 20,000 for the raffle, but I think it would have been 40 or 45 extra coming in to the site, I think, for that. So that was quite a surprise. And it's always a mix of, a lot of people just give a little, but then some people will, they've give 5,000 or 10,000, and it really sort of makes a difference. So very, very kind of people. And then, so then we've got the 3-by-1 appeal. So that's this new appeal that only started at the beginning of September. And then the spring raffle is going to launch next month, in the middle of next month, I think. So we've got 3 prizes for that. And we've even got 1 prize, I think, left over for the next raffle as well. So so this is all making us. This is blessing the site initially with the monks and the nuns with Geshe-la, just blessing the flat pad before we started to build there. At the moment, all our entertaining has to happen on a 1.5 meter by 3 meter veranda. So we're going to be pleased with our new place. We have a new nun. Some of you know Ruby Kame. She got ordained last Wednesday. she took Rabjong vows, so that's very exciting. And all of the Sangha, we all sort of, the monks and the nuns turned up for that. Rixel's our chairperson, and Basil, even though he lives in Melbourne now with Rixel, she moved down to Melbourne to be closer with her family, because it was just getting a little bit tricky with the she'd fallen a couple of times because of quite rough ground, and she's at 81 now, so she just felt it was better, but she's still agreed, and we really welcome her to be our chairperson for this last year, and so that's very helpful. So we've got Ruby, who's the new nun, and also Labdron is on pilgrimage at the moment. She lives here, but she's not really part of the activities as such, because she's very, very busy with the Sri Lankan situation. So we're 6 nuns, and we've already got a couple of inquiries. People want to join us as well. So on the day that Ruby took her Rabjong vows, we had this incredible storm last Wednesday it was, and the whole place turned white like snow. So this is our building from coming down from the stupa, looking it just through the trees. This is the meditation hall, and this is the main accommodation building with 7 bedrooms and the accessible bedroom, as well as a study and a living room. And through this door here, this section is just slightly set back. There's a little porch, and that's a dining kitchen area, sort of like a big family room, I guess. Off that is a more formal lounge, and then around on this other corner there's a library. So it creates some outdoor spaces at this back here. The front door of the meditation hall faces east, and then the altar is at the back in the west, and then behind that there's it's got a little kitchenette, and also a text room on the other side of the altar, and then at the back there's an art room, so it could be satsas or water bowls or whatever somebody wants to do, or art or statue making. One of our nuns, Choying, restores statues and things, so that could happen there. But also if we have bigger retreats, we could have that as a dormitory for nuns as well. So so that's the hope. So then this is from the downside, this is the accommodation building. It's got a front porch as well. So we could eat out here in winter and have our backs in the sun, and the back porch could have a summer table. But we do get a view of the stupa in certain places, and this is the meditation hall, and this is the entry to, this is the window to the sliding door to the workroom. This is the study here, which has a similar sliding door, and a little slightly set back. But yeah, anyway, we're quite pleased with where we are at the moment. We can't quite believe it, but still needs a bit of work inside. It's plastered and ceilings and everything, but they've just today, this is a picture from today. So we've just finally got rid of the, we've had, we had this, all the downpipes were extended and taking the water away from the house. So it wasn't, because it got very muddy. And so the builders did that. And that's from the backside. But now for the first day, all the downpipes are against the wall. So it's actually looking more stately.
Can you hear me, Tsapel?
I can hear you. Yep.
Yes, good. Maybe then everyone can hear me. So if you have questions, maybe to put in the chat, maybe that works at best. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of questions come up. So I was wondering if you keep the trailers after you finish the project, and also if you have space around the buildings to do your own things. Like I don't know if also Rinpoche give instructions to have holy objects on around the building. I mean, can you?
He hasn't been specific with holy objects, and I think we will have some. We are keeping the cabins. They are just like caravans at the moment, and not legal, even though they look more formal because they're all matching, and even we did our garage in the same things as our cabins. So so it is sort of part of the whole mix of buildings. So we want to take the wheels off and then have put proper stumps down and plumb them properly. And now that the plumbing was very close, it's at the back of the site, but because of you need the downhill flow for the for the plumbing as well, there's been a huge big plumbing process going on at the same time. So it's really been a huge lot of workmen and everything, but it's come down for the nunnery and the workshop that'll be across the road and down the hill a bit below the dam. And then also they made it so that the 4 cabins can be properly plumbed into that same site-wide off-grid sort of community utilities. So it's sewage treatment, it's potted water treatment so that you get proper purified or filtered water, and also its electricity is generated on the site, and there's backup systems if the electricity doesn't go far enough. So it's all of that we don't all of that we're plugging into. So that's quite expensive, but we did it needed we had 106,000 for that part of it, and there was also another part of it that they also needed a powerhouse that we were sharing to boost what's happening down here. And I was sort of like really worrying about how much that was going to be. I never really got the proper price because a benefactor offered to pay for the smaller powerhouse that was going to do the workshop on us and give a boost to this area. So, we're very lucky, really. People are so kind.
About the design,
the person who designs the plumbing is on the board of the Great Stupa, so a very generous man offering his time for nothing. It's been his business all his life, but now he's retired, and he's, just lovely to talk to and very kind. So that's good.
Fantastic. So I don't see yet questions from other Sangha, but I was wondering, like, did the Rinpoche give instructions for the rooms or for the design, or did you have?
He said it was good to have our own.
From the Vinaya, because also in the Vinaya sometimes it says some instructions for rooms. I was wondering.
What Rinpoche said in 2011, he just said generally that the Sangha communities must really need to check whether they've got the facilities for people as they, have health problems, but not really sort of needing hospital, that they can stay and be with a community, can help with prayers and pujas and things, and still have a life, even though their health is more tricky. So that I was on retreat at the time. I wasn't here, and when I heard that, I thought that's very interesting. I would thought I'd like to be part of that project, but I didn't mention anything, at Bendigo at some time. Anyway, after I came out of retreat and offered my service, Rinpoche said it was good to go to Mongolia, which I did for 2.5 years. And then I went to Melbourne and in 2016, and that's when I offered my service again to do this project. But at that time, after my elderly mother, so she could stay at home as long as possible. So it wasn't until 2018, after my mother passed, that at the end of 2017, that I was able to move up. So Rinpoche, so these rooms are probably bigger than the standard standard monks' rooms, if there is a size. I don't know. I think there's sort of a size, is there, or is it labeled or
No,
not?
there's no specific size, no.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Anyway,
I
and
think,
also like even with our cabins, like the cabins are bedrooms, but also, you know, you need someone to study and you need somewhere to sit and you need somewhere to meditate and you need to be able to do prostrations. So
yeah,
the rooms allow for all of that. Also, if we have meetings, we all come into each other into one of the cabins because we don't have any other places. And I know that happened at Chenrezig too. You don't have necessarily separate rooms for everybody to, you know, if somebody asks or wants to talk, you bring them back into your own room quite often. So especially with other nuns, you know, public areas too, you don't want to really do it in a public area or and unless you've got a separate office or something. So Rinpoche said it's good to have it's good to have rooms that are appropriate for your culture and the way that people normally live, and also rooms where the nuns can be happy and that you can actually stay to the end of life, you know, unless you need the hospital,
yeah,
you know, care. And our government, you know, there's a newer thing coming out where they're sort of adjusting some of the helps for people to stay more at home and have people come in if you do need some care. So it could be that there could also be some help come in if people needed it without having to move to a proper you know, facility. So
yeah,
as long as you're sort of okay and not
yeah.
needing the more serious care.
I have a question coming in. How many nuns will you be able to accommodate?
There's only 7 more new rooms, but when we do we're living in 4 cabins at the moment, and so when they're freed up because of this other building coming available, we'll do the other work on these 4 and keep them as retreat huts or overflow accommodation. So that's a very good facility and gives us 11 altogether, which is pretty nice. Yeah.
And the rooms have a cooking possibility?
The 4 cabins have a little kitchenette. It's enough for one person. But they don't have bathrooms. So
the
we
new
have
room.
the shared bathroom.
Yeah.
So not only would we plumb them all, we'd add a individual shower basin toilet to each of the little cabins.
Yeah,
That's our plan.
I'm not talking about the cabins. I talk about the new rooms.
The new rooms have their own bathroom, but no cooking.
No cooking.
No
Yeah.
cooking. No, we have a communal kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not self-contained little rooms. No.
Studios, yeah.
Not like the cabins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. More questions. Yeah, I'm pleased to hear that you take into consideration that old age, because yeah, in general the IMI population is a bit above average. So and we have to take care for that people when they are in their 60s, 70s, 80s still able to live in community as long as they're healthy enough. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, we're all pushing up there now.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's very. I really rejoice in this whole project.
Yeah. But I think also one thing now, like I've been starting to think quite a lot about, is just you know, the building's one thing, and you know, I was very involved with Chenrezig, and you know, we built 3 different stages with the providing for the nuns there, and so we built 7 little huts and then a community building with 6 rooms and facilities. And then set the education program. But it was sort of, we built things and, you know, it put an education program. And then as we're living together, we sort of worked out what the rules were. This time I feel there's a real need, you know what, I don't really know how to establish a good community, but I really want us to work together to really work out something that's not really stifling, but something that you can really know what it's expected of you, but also, you know, that everyone's agreed to before they come and join the nunnery. Everyone knows what they get from the nunnery, or what's expected that they would receive from the nunnery in terms of accommodation and ability to study or retreat or do this or that, and then what's expected of them.
Mm.
And then also to try and have some processes where, you know, there is some attention to how we're going as a group at a regular interval, so that we can really check that things don't get out of hand, you know, so that we're really moving in the same direction together as a community as well,
Yeah.
and looking after each other. So that's sort of different. And, you know, I've been pondering about that as well. And we will be meeting once we, you know, once the new building's going, because already we've had a couple of inquiries.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
I don't want
I
to do
think
the
in your
same thing where
situation,
you
it's
just
indeed you have already experienced from yourself from Generating Institute, but it could also be good to ask a Dodge Palmo in France. They have also relatively new nunneries since
Yep.
7 years.
Yep.
They come along the same questions: how to build up community, what kind of procedures, making rules.
Yep.
Also, Fernando Cadro worked for the Spanish nunnery, which is then now kind of on hold, but also they have
Yep.
quite some experience with how to discuss rules. And they used also the rule book of Nalanda as a kind of base, like to discuss things, like how to have a
Yeah.
kind of example. But
Well, I mean, the Nalanda rule book would be very helpful if you've got a PDF on that.
Oh yeah, we have. Yes, I can take care that you get that. Yeah, but it's good to discuss with some other, because I think a startup nunnery, which I've seen now, you're the third, which I see from a distance. You come all along the same kind of questions, and and the role of the abbot and so forth. Yeah. So, are there more questions? I don't see more questions coming in.
Well, that's all right. Probably,
Yeah.
you know, it's sort of self-evident, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think if people have been here, then they also, it's actually, we're really lucky with the site. Like, all that prolonged time, you know, changing sites. I can't believe just how beautiful this site and suitable this site is as well. And on the east and the on the west, you know, down below, you know, to the north and the west, we won't be built out on that side. The stupa's behind, and there's the tank area and the dam, and there will be a workshop nearby. But I think we're extremely lucky to have a peaceful site like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tsapel. I really rejoice in all your effort, and I really admire the courage to invest your precious time and energy in the future of Western Sangha. So that's very, as Rinpoche say, actually you need a big statue of yourself, you know, like you're kind of hero. Yeah, but anyway, so so
we've got a little skiddy because we weren't a center then. Now we're a center in our own right, or a nunnery.
yes, yeah.
And but when we ordered the skiddy we only got the small one. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. We haven't unpacked them yet because it's still a bit messy on site. But I think that's our first. Oh, that's our second statue, because when Lama Zopa was here the last time in 2018, at the end of the retreat, he was offered a very beautiful white Tara statue, which he then gave
most
to the
beautiful white Tara I have ever seen. Yes.
Yeah, they're very, very lovely. And he also made a 11,000 donation as well. That was very moving too. And it made it really feel that we were going to get there one day, even though it was hard to see how that would happen. So, yeah, anyway, I feel like Rinpoche and Lama have been here, and Tara's guiding it. So,
Yeah.
you know.
So I have here still one message. Deutsche Palmer Monastery would be glad to exchange on rules, study and work organization. So that's for you to know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also someone thanks you greatly. Well done,
Very
Tsapel.
kind.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so we will
Yep.
upload this video and we will add the website and
Yeah.
where people can make donations and so forth. I think we cannot do on YouTube too much sponsoring, but we can mention the details, some details. Yeah.
Sure,
and,
sure.
Yeah. And
is it possible, I know probably the videotape, I can't actually correct that slide 5, but maybe that can just, I don't know. Maybe that's too hard, isn't it? Because it's a video.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Tenda, for the opportunity, and thank you for everyone who's come along.
Well, thank you very much. And I started wrong off, not with starting taking refuge. So, but anyway, we can still do the conclusion because I think we are all present with a happier heart and with good thoughts. So at least we can dedicate it. Everyone who may see this or hear about this project may get realizations of the 3 principles of the path. So have success in the renunciation and realize bodhicitta and the wisdom realizing emptiness. So we dedicate strongly to especially to the success of all monks and nuns of the IMI and our sponsors, everyone who contributed, also as volunteers, and to the fact that Sangha can thrive in the West. So so may also especially this Nunnery, Machig, may all the last steps come about without big obstacles, and may the Nunnery have a big impact on everyone who will go there ever in the future. May all obstacles be removed for everyone who wants to live there. So
Thank you very much.
And may it,
there is one. Yeah. There is we're scheduled to finish in January, but then we'll still need altar and then statues and decorations around the still to happen. But we do hope in the first part of the year to have some sort of opening. But the main thing is there's also the Kala Chakra ceiling is due to go up in the ceiling of the Great Stupa, and we have already we're expecting Jada Rinpoche to come and give Kala Chakra retreat, and bless the ceiling. Lama Zopa wanted that to happen when His Holiness could no longer, his invitation wasn't possible anymore. So
that will be next year.
It would be really great. It's going to be amazing to really have a nunnery to use as well too. But I hope any of you who would like to come and were able to come at that stage, then hopefully we could find a way to put you up at our nunnery.
Yes.
Apart from you, Tenda.
Yes, no problem.
we might put you up in the dormitory or at the monastery. That'll be fine.
I have good memories of staying in the monastery. Yes.
Yeah. The monks have been very helpful and supportive as well. So that's good.
That's good. Very good. So
thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, who being with us and being together. So success, and hope to see you all soon again.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's the last remarks on it's fantastic what you have done, really amazing. So, and all our best wishes. Thank you, Tsapel, again, and
yep.
You're always being with us. Ciao, ciao.
Come and visit us sometime.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Abel. Great job.
Bye. Thank you.
Wonderful what you've done. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Thanks.